All right, former President Obama back on the campaign trail, taking aim at President Trump and even taking credit for the economic boom.
When you hear how great the economy is doing right now, let's just remember when this recovery started. Suddenly, Republicans are saying it's a miracle. I have to kind of remind them, actually, those job numbers are the same as they were in 2015, in 2016.
A lot of people have pounced on that comment. So is former President Obama really responsible for the Trump economy? Here to break it down is former chief economist for the U.S. International Trade Commission, Professor Peter Morici. Thank you, sir, for coming back on this morning. What numbers is President Obama talking about when he says they're the same now as they were back in 2015?
Well, the jobs growth has been about the same during the Trump first 2 years as during the Obama final 2 years. That's a fair statement. But that's cherry picking. Yeah. Growth during the Trump years has been much more robust. We've been averaging growth that's, this year we should get up near 3%. That would put us about 50% above Mr. Obama's performance over his, term of office. Productivity growth has been particularly strong, and as a consequence, we're starting to see wages go up. That's really good news. What's more, this is important because this is something that Mr. Obama worries endlessly about. That is inequality. Inequality got worse during the Obama years. They seem to think that that's a Republican trap. It's not. During the Obama years, inequality got worse. Now we're seeing low-wage workers getting lots of pay increases, bigger than average, and we're seeing them get a lot of training opportunities.
You're talking income inequality. The
Exactly.
Difference in, yeah. Okay.
Income inequality is narrowing now that the Republicans are creating an opportunity economy. And that's a real plus. Now, Mr. Obama can't lay claim to those accomplishments. He regulated the economy. Mr. Trump deregulated. He reformed corporate taxes, and that's encouraging all this investment and productivity.
Yeah, and he also kept interest rates, artificially low. That was a big complaint as well, is that we had such low interest rates for such a long time that it kept the economy more healthy than it probably should have been.
There was a very cynical aspect of the Obama recovery. The government borrowed a lot at low interest rates, but also he encouraged young people to borrow a lot for useless college programs. I mean, a lot of young people, because they couldn't find jobs, went back to graduate school at second-tier universities and took useless programs, and now they're burdened with debt for the rest of their lives. He used that to stimulate the economy. I mean, this was the worst Fagan act of any president in the last two generations.
Let's look at just a couple more things. Unemployment, I went back to 2015, 2016. You saw labor numbers 5 to 6% in 2015 unemployment, so he obviously wasn't talking about that in the comment we heard from him just there. Right now, we're at about 3.9%. More jobs and workers is a common thing you're hearing a lot right now. GDP numbers were around 4% quarterly, over 3% annually, and that's a much higher number than Obama was ever able to boast in the 8 years he had to get over that recession.
Well, normally when we come out of a big recession, we get very robust growth. Yeah. But what Mr. Obama did was double down on entitlements. He encouraged people not to work. If there is a legacy of Mr. Obama, it's the new leisure class of able-bodied men, millions of them, who are on some kind of government handout or living off their girlfriends who don't look for a job. And that's thanks to Mr. Obama's handouts. Mr. Trump is creating an opportunity economy, the kind of thing that George Bush talked about. He's delivering on. This is a revolutionary presidency in that regard.
Yeah. Well, if you want a job and you need a job, it's a good time to find one. Wages should also come up. As people have more options for jobs, employers are going to have to pay more to get good people. Peter, thank you so much for coming on this morning. We appreciate your time.
Take care.
All right.